Good afternoon, Blah Podcast Studios in the building. This is the Golden Shades of Ebony, Sigma Psi Pi Sorority Incorporated. I'm your host, Montana, and I have a special guest. I'm going to introduce her in a few minutes. So basically, being a part of the Golden Shades of Ebony sorority, it is a non-collegiate business entrepreneurship sorority. So if you would like to attend or ask questions about the sorority on the things that we do, you can give me a call at 216-978-0386. We have a special guest in the house. We have Dr. Rhonda Turpin, the successful grant entrepreneurship female in the building today. So say hi to everybody in that camera over there, Dr. Turpin.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so basically, Dr. Turpin, she writes grants. You've been doing it for a while, right?
Oh my gosh, 30-some years. I'm telling my age.
And basically, you have a large following.
Yes.
You have written grants. Tell us a little bit about grant writing, who you done wrote grants for. We'll go to the entrepreneurship. And we're just talking about this because she is, we call a Sigma entrepreneurship female. Sigma female pretty much is a female. She is she is an entrepreneur, a hustler. She gets the things done, everything she wants, she go grab, and basically is successful on the things that she pursue and accomplish. All right.
So let's start with how I started writing grants.
Okay.
So I graduated from high school, and my first job was Murtis Taylor Multi-Service Center as the assistant to Dr. Paul Hill Jr. So that was my first absolute job. He taught me how to write grants because he hadn't started ECN Neighborhood House yet. So he taught me how to write grants. I went to all the meetings, etc. So he ended up leaving Murtis Taylor and going to ECN Neighborhood House. In the meantime, I went back to school from high school and got my degree from Cleveland State University College of Levin Urban Affairs in nonprofit management and public administration. So after I graduated from that, life came full circle because I found myself in a meeting where I was sent to write grants to meet with Paul Hill in a collaborative that he was involved in, and we laughed because I said, Dr. Hill, we've came full circle. Mm-hmm. When the teacher meets the student. So that's a little bit about my background.
Right. All right, so if you are interested, I'm just going to give them a little bit because you got a flyer here. There is a flyer here that's going to be, it's a grant writing clinic. It's going to be a 2-day clinic. And basically it's going at Blot headquarters of the building. So if you are a Blot member and you're interested in doing a grant writing class, give me a 216-978 number 0386. The grant writing class is going to be here at 503 East 200th Street, Suite 202. And if you want to get in this grant class, if there's room available, the phone number you want to text is 216-571-5522 to see if any more is available. For the Blot members, if you're a Blot member and you say, oh man, I missed this grant writing class, there is another grant writing class coming up in November. Those dates was November the 12th.
November 12th.
November 12th, Saturday. So if you're interested in getting into that grant writing class, give me a class. Yeah, I said class right. Give me a call, 216-978-0386. And you can get into that slot. So also, Dr. Turpin, you are part of the National Congress of Black Women, Chair Youth, is it?
Youth Development.
Youth Development. Tell us a little bit about, joining the National Congress of Black Women and why you joined.
Yes, I attended all their events, and Carolyn Peak asked me about youth development. I've been working with developing youth. For years it was at risk. Now with my own program, high risk. I worked on the Youth Development Initiative when we had the 3 county commissioners. One of my biggest grants was $5 million for Youth Development Initiative. So developing has been a part of my core and DNA really since I came out of high school because I have a passion for that. And Carolyn Peak asked me to join the Women's Council as Youth Development Chair, and so I did.
Okay, great. All right, we're gonna give a shout out to Miss Carolyn Peak. We're gonna give a shout out to Miss Pam. We're gonna give a
Yes.
shout out to Miss Renee, our president. And basically, going forward, let's talk about housing. A lot of people are going into group home training. And their thing is, okay, how do I start these programs with the group home? Is there a program? Is there grant funding? Can I get a house donated? Can I get this? Can I get that? They're pretty much, some of them are nonprofits, some of them are not. I got a phone call today actually wanting to get a grant and sit in your class. And she has a for-profit business. So what would you say to people for the housing, the programs, and people that's just for-profit businesses?
Okay. First of all, I'm going to take the last portion of that first.
Okay.
If they have a for-profit business, I would suggest that they set up a nonprofit with the for-profit, like Montana teaches in her class, having both, because they could spin off it. Because all the grants, just to give you an idea of the difference, today, right, what's on my computer is 6,900 grants today available for the nonprofits and 17 for profits. So that shows you the comparison. So in just taking the time to set up a nonprofit 501c3, you're eligible for the larger pots of money. So as far as that, as far as housing and getting a grant to donate a house, they do have a program for nonprofits that you could get the house donated through the office by turning in different paperwork. Also, they have the land bank. But with the land banks, and it's three of them, and it's links also that I have posted on my Patreon. But with those links, remember that it's a lot of footwork. People usually will ask me, can I find them a house? And I usually tell them themselves, I give them the links. It's hours of work because you have to look at the links, find, maybe get you a list, then go out and see the houses, because what you pull up on Google, that might have been a picture that was 5, 10 years old, might be water damage and everything else. So that's, just pulling the address up on Google is not going to give you a solid read. So it is houses available for free for nonprofits, but you have to do the footwork. I've talked to people and they told me it's about maybe minimum of 20 hours work when you get to researching the houses on these databases, going to look at them, pulling the violations from whatever city that they're in, and then once you get it, doing the paperwork, just showing, and they tell you to list at least 3 of your choice and turning in the paperwork. And then they do have money available. They have now $20,000 available for fix-up if it's in the city of Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
But I'm going to tell everyone, it is work. Don't expect to go on those land banks, see a house, and say, oh, I'm going to get this house. No, go look at it, pull the violations, and diligence so you don't get stuck. Because I've had that happen, too, to a client, and he didn't. And he ended up, what he saw on Google was a hot mess. So he's still stuck with it. Yeah, even after getting the money to fix it up, and Union Miles gave him a grant because it was in that area, it's still a hot mess.
Okay. So I know that when they come to the group home training with Ms. Doris, they get a fixed rate of $1,600 per person. And basically, they say, okay, is this it? Now, if they have a nonprofit, can they illustrate or orchestrate a program inside their facility, like some type of, let's say, workforce program, or if they own mental health or drug addiction, can they have programs inside of the group home so they can get the extra grants or extra funding?
Absolutely, Montana. If they have a 501c3, not only are they eligible for materials, for Department of Agriculture, which is the food allowance, if they have programs, say workforce development, which is just computers, and somebody to show them how to use computers, no matter what population you have, it's unlimited grants if you have some type of programs, which a lot of the houses that I deal with, even in Youngstown, they have programs in there. So that makes a big difference if you're a 501c3, because if not, you're limited to the per diem per day that she talked about, and that's it. but then you're leaving a whole slew of money on the table when you could just do your 501c3 like Montana talks about in her classes, and have both. Have your 501c3 and profit business and let it spin off of each other.
Right. So Dr. Turpin will be coming to our we're going to be advertising later, probably a couple of weeks later, maybe next week, actually. She's going to be a panelist on our platform. And if you want to come out and support, it's going to be a seminar/workshop to ask questions. She will be in the house giving answers to some of the questions that a lot of people have. And some people have the questions is, I just got my nonprofit. Can I get a grant? I want to get a grant right out the gate. And basically what I'd say to them is that, you're not eligible for the grants yet unless you want to get like a smaller grant, like a community grant. But the bigger grants, they want to see tax documentation. They want to see resources coming in. So let's hear from you because you're the expert.
Yes. So what I teach is get your house in order. Like Montana said, you have this piece of paper, but you have no track record. And remember that in Cuyahoga County, it's now today 15,000 active nonprofit 501c3s in our county competing for the same dollars that you're competing in. So why would they give you a grant? And they have all these others, but you can get a grant, but what you have to do is get your house in order. And what that means, your letters of support, your website, register with GuideStar. And it's a series of steps we go over in the class. I call it exactly that, getting your house in order, so that the leverage field, you could go from the bottom of the list to the top of the list. And that's why a lot of us fail, because we don't want to get our house in order. And then if you're a startup and out the gate, partner with someone that's seasoned, that knows, that has their paperwork in order. Years and years ago, once again, I'm telling my age, because about 30 years ago, I partnered with Famicos, who the director was Jim Williams, and partnered with him with my grant for after school programming, but he got the money, he issued out the check, and they usually charge like a 10% fee, but partner with someone that's seasoned. It's lots of agencies that are seasoned and that you could partner with from day one. And so that might be a strategy also.
All right, let's talk about what you said. What was it called again? Star or something.
GuideStar.
Because I keep saying Black, because I got one of my sorority sisters. She say her business is Black Star, and you said GuideStar.
Yes, GuideStar.
Sorry.
That is very, 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 very important. They are the gatekeepers of grants. What that means is that you will not get a foundation grant unless you register with GuideStar. The registration is free. It's putting your contact information for bronze status. And then for the next status, you have to submit your mission statement, what you do, who your board is, etc. But it's 4 stages, and it's best to get platinum. It doesn't cost you anything. But most foundation grants, if you read the small print, it will tell you, have you registered with GuideStar? And it said, if not, stop here. It got it read, right. Stop here, because they are the gatekeepers of the grant world. Everyone has gatekeepers. They are the gatekeepers of the grant world. So I talked to many, many people, and I asked them, are you registered with GuideStar? And they said, who, what? What is that? So you already know. And then, or they'll tell me, I keep applying for these grants, but I get no answer. Register with GuideStar. Let them know, get out there publicly. If you have a website or even a static website, GuideStar tells you, put their seal on your website. So when they look at your website, they'll see that credential that you're registered with GuideStar. And it's free. All it takes is your time, but it's mandatory.
All right. So I would just say to the public, if you are looking, I'm messing my hair up. If you are looking to get organized right, because a lot of people do nonprofit paperwork for you. You got a lot of people that will put your business in paperwork together. They'll put your EIN together, your bylaws, and your 1023 applications together. We take it a little bit further where we sit you down and we kind of like tell you, okay, guess what this means, and guess what this means, and this is the tax bracket, and this is what a trust means, this is what a C corporation, an S corporation, or with the 501c3, with the 501c1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's like 28 501c3s, and we basically educate you on all the 501cs and how to get your business up and going, and the for-profit, how they work together. So they're not joined like this. When you say, oh, get your nonprofit and your for-profit together, and they like this, it has to be separated, because it's like commingling, and this is like separated. So this one can complement this one can complement this one. So this is what we do at Blott University. We teach you how to get the paperwork in order. So then when we pass you to Dr. Turpin, she gets you together, and now she's going to be a continuing education, teach you, okay, now you got your paperwork together. Now I'm about to teach you the money game. I have information on grants. I've done grants. I don't like it. Like she said, it's tedious work. You have to work very, very hard into getting those done. So if she can give you a shortcut or make it easier as you learn the grants, because it can be very hard, then I say take this class, take this course. If you have time, call off work, actually. Say, forget them, call off work, take this course, because she is phenomenal. She's a amazing speaker, introduction, everything. When she's giving her information as far as the grants, and I have sat in a couple of her grant classes, it's phenomenal information. It's like information, you be like, oh, wow, you better write that down. Or you better, practice or do what she's telling you to do. So when you come here, don't come to her grant class thinking that, oh, you're just going to be sitting down just, writing this, and, she's going to lead me to the money. No, she's going to have you working, and she's not going to do it for you. You're going to have to do your own research. So basically, you have another Tech Hive. Mm-hmm. It's the last place they're going to be going. What are they going to be doing at Tech Hive?
Yes. Part 3 of the grant writing class is the research. I talked to you about GuideStar, which is owned by Candid. Well, that's who's coming. That's who's coming, the people that are the threshold. His name is, I forgot it, but it's on the flyer. But he taught before. But what he'll be showing you specifically is how to research every single grant in Cuyahoga County, where it's at, how to put filters where it goes right to what you need, and David Holmes. And then basically Candid owns they're the threshold. They own GuideStar. So he'll be talking to you about GuideStar, and he'll be showing you specifically how to do the filter, how to find the grants. It's a phenomenal workshop. It will cost you hundreds of dollars, and it's free for Blott. And our agency is free that day, free lunch, and the lunch are good. From 10 to 12 continental, free lunch, free continental breakfast. It is amazing. David Holmes is his name. He taught for us before, and it is an amazing workshop. It went by so fast, and he answers questions because he shows you where to find the money. Also, they put recently free at all the libraries in the cities. They put the free Foundation Center website, and he's going to show you specifically how to use it. Like I said, if you paid for a workshop like that from Candid or Foundation Directory, GuideStar, you would pay a minimum of $300, and it's free for you. How about that?
Yay. Do you know how many workshops that Candid do in a year, or they just do once a year? You know how
they do a lot of different workshops, but this is the second one that they're doing for us.
Okay, so they like you a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so basically get with Dr. Turpin, get next to her, learn, let her see that you really is one of the entrepreneurs. Say, hey, I'm really serious about what we doing here. Make sure that you understand what she's teaching. Because you can come in here and the grant, it could be, if you don't understand it, it's going to go right over your head. And you're like, I got to sit in that class again. Or I got to sit in the class again. But she wouldn't mind. And then what was the, you have another, what was it? Okay, so this is the third, Tech Hive is the third
day. The 17th, Thursday.
And so the first 2 days, they're going to just be learning.
In this building.
Day 1 and day 2 is just the beginning of the workshops.
They'll be getting their boilerplate together. And what that means is that all components of a grant, the mandatory components, and I have folders, you'll be doing your own, and we'll be critiquing it, where when you walk out of that door, you'll have your boilerplate to apply for any grant. Then if you have any questions, I have patreon.com that grant lady, and you could put questions in the chat. The reason why I asked you to put questions in the chat is because there might be 10 other people that have the same question as you. But I post grants every week. I post what you need. I post helpful information. It is a free version. It's a free version, but you won't have access to the grants. But it's free where you can look at documents, samples, support letters, and everything. And that's my grant community. And that's where I post that at least once a week.
Okay. Also, we want to talk about you have other jobs that you do. You do at the stadiums. You do private coaching.
Yes.
You do you're partnering with different other corporations or other nonprofits in the community doing community service work.
Yes.
So let's talk about the stadiums.
Yes. So when you get your 501c3, that's also a part of fundraising. It's called MPO fundraising program through Delaware, North, Aramark, and Levy. They own all of them in the country. I just expanded to San Antonio, Texas yesterday. So they own all the stadiums. So what it is the fundraising for 501c3s. You turn in your 501c3 letter, W-9, proof of insurance, and you could really go anywhere and get on the list and provide 2 or more people. The purpose of that is fundraising. They pay you a commission on running the stands. You get a commission. Some pay 9, some pay 7, some pay 5 different stadiums. Like Detroit pays 5, Cleveland Browns pays 9. But what that means is that if you make $1,000 in sales, you get 9% commission. So it's another way to fundraise. But you have to understand the game, because like with everything else, if you sign up and don't supply the people, then you have a $500 fine and you're out the game. And I've talked to people that's been established nonprofits for years and years and years that lost their contract because they signed the contract and then didn't supply the people. So you do have to be hands-on. Montana knows I'm here 7 days a week, if not Saturday and Sunday, just to make sure my roster is good. Then I go back home. Because you have to make sure that your people are there or you lose the contract. But it is an easy way for nonprofits to make money if you have the people and you teach them good customer service. And they have plenty of videos and trainings available. So I've been doing that for 3 years.
Okay. Now, do you help train to get contracts, or do you just hire, or both?
Both.
Okay.
I've helped 2 people get in, and possibly 3. I'm working on the 3rd. Once again, one of my people, she's having some issues, and I'm not going to say what the issues are, but the other person, which was family, and she'll be at the class, it was supplying the people. It was supplying the people because she had her husband, her sons, and her sister. Well, you know how that went. You know how that went. It ended up her husband like, well, I ain't going today. And the sons got other jobs. They had Paneras and a couple other things. So she got a 6-person booth, and now it's just her and her sister. And then the sister had something to do. So she doesn't have that contract anymore. And that's why it's important. You got to go beyond family. Family and friends. You got to go with somebody maybe old or retired. This is what they do. And they're going to show when you don't show. And that's what I do. Yeah, my people are there. Even if I don't call, they call me and say, okay, this is what's going on, da-da-da-da-da. So, and send me the attendance list. So you want to train people that it's going to be there. But like I said, it's decent money, but you have to set it up right. You just can't think that your family is going to carry the ball, because family has stuff to do.
Right. So basically, in the breakdown, in a nutshell, what Dr. Turpin is saying is that the stadiums will give you a vendor's booth, and it depends how many, I guess, you request or something, but they will pay you the 9% was a commission. All you gotta do is just bring your people. So all the everything, the cash register gonna be there.
Yes,
your
everything.
food gonna be there, the beer, pop, hot dogs, whatever is gonna be there. All y'all gotta do is just go in and sell it. And the stadium will say, okay, at the end of the day, we're gonna count up the money, make sure you ain't got no, whatever the profit and loss is, then here's your portion of the money and here's ours. So yes, you have to be a 501c3 to do that. So all the 501c3s that be like, oh, my 501c3 ain't making no money, or I'm broke. Why I ain't making no money? Why I ain't out here making no money? And she just said charitable. You can do this for charitable and basically just get your foot in the door doing something. And basically nonprofits have a variety of things you can do to gain a resource for or income for your nonprofit. It just doesn't have to be this thing or that thing. You can just have a slew of. You can go in real estate. You can go on with retail, like with the Goodwill thrift stores. Donate to the thrift store and then they sell it. So it's kind of like that. Also, let's let Dr. Turpin. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. We got like a few minutes left.
Okay.
Talk about anything you want to tell the people.
Okay. Grants are only 10%, like Montana said, of your nonprofit budget. You have donations, you have donor advised funds, you have fundraising is big, like the fundraising at all the stadiums and events. So people get stuck on that 10% grants. You have sponsorships. Every single company will sponsor you if they have an income and they believe in your program. So don't get stuck on grants. Grants are very important, but do not get stuck on grants. And once again, if you have any questions, patreon.com/thatgrantlady, patreon.com is my community. I'll be posting today some information so that we'll answer all your questions. And get with me. And thank you, Montana, for inviting me.
You're very welcome. All right, so our time is up. Until next week, the Golden Shades of Ebony, Sigma Psi Pi Sorority Incorporated. Woo! See you next week.